Hi and welcome to The Quiet Historian. Tonight we step into the life of a Roman legionary, not the glory of triumph, not the drama of battle, but the daily routine, the weight, the labor, the endless grinding discipline that built an empire. You are a soldier of Rome, a legionary, one of nearly 5,000 men in your legion, marching across a landscape that stretches from the cold forests of Germania to the scorching deserts of the East. You signed your life away for 25 years. 25 years of marching, digging, fighting and marching again. This is not optional. You cannot leave. The rules are absolute. Desertion, disobedience, sleeping on guard duty, all carry the harshest penalties. But you do not think about those things often. You think about your feet, about the weight on your shoulders, about the next meal, about sleep, about surviving today so you can do it all again tomorrow. Before we begin, take a moment to like this video if you enjoy what we do here. Subscribe if you would like more of these calm journeys into the past. And if you feel like it, share where you are listening from and what time it is there. It is always strangely comforting to imagine this quiet circle scattered across the world, all settling into the same Roman routine together. Now, let the modern world slip away. No engines, no electric hum, just the sound of thousands of men breathing, moving, preparing for another day on campaign. You are standing in a Roman military camp. It is dawn, or nearly so. The sky is beginning to lighten in the east, though the stars are still visible overhead. The air is cold, sharp. You can see your breath. Around you, the camp is beginning to stir. This camp did not exist yesterday. Last night, after a full day's march, you and your comrades built it from nothing. Trenches dug, ramparts raised, wooden stakes driven into the earth, a complete fortified camp, square and organized, with gates on all four sides, and the commander's tent in the exact center. And this morning, you will tear it all down. You will pack everything you built. You will shoulder your gear, and you will march again. 20 miles, maybe more. And when you stop, you will build another camp identical to this one, in a new location. This is your life. This is what it means to be a legionary. You are not alone. You are one of 8 men in your contubernium, your tent group. The 8 of you share everything: a tent, meals, labor, the burden of the march. You know these men better than you know your own family. You have marched with them for years. You will march with them until one of you dies, or until your 25 years are complete. Your contubernium is part of a century. 80 men, led by a centurion, a hard, weathered veteran who has survived decades of this life. 6 centuries make a cohort. 10 cohorts make a legion. Nearly 5,000 men, all moving as one, all following the same rhythms, the same orders, the same relentless routine. You are heavy infantry, the backbone of Rome's war machine. You carry a scutum, a large rectangular shield made of wood and leather, reinforced with metal. You carry 2 pila, javelins with long iron shafts designed to bend on impact, making enemy shields useless. You carry a gladius, a short sword built for stabbing in close quarters. And you carry a pugio, a dagger, though you rarely use it. For armor, you wear lorica hamata, mail armor. Thousands of tiny iron rings linked together, heavy and unyielding. Or perhaps lorica segmentata, overlapping metal plates that protect your torso and shoulders. Your helmet is open-faced, allowing you to see and hear clearly, though it offers no protection for your face. But the armor is not the heaviest part. The heaviest part is everything else. You carry a furka, a wooden pole like a yoke slung over your shoulder. Hanging from it are your personal belongings, a cooking pot, a tool for digging, either a shovel or a pickaxe, extra clothing, a bedroll, some food, personal effects, stakes for the palisade, rope, leather straps, everything you need to survive and to build the nightly camp. All of this, combined with your armor and weapons, weighs over 60 pounds. And you will carry it for 20 miles today, and tomorrow, and the day after that. You do not complain. Complaining does nothing. The weight does not care. The road does not care. The centurion certainly does not care. So you adjust the straps, you shift the load, you find a rhythm, and you march. This is not a story of heroism. This is not a tale of great deeds. This is the truth of what it means to be a Roman soldier. The routine, the labor, the discipline, the endless grinding sameness of days that blur into weeks, weeks into months, months into years. You will wake before dawn. You will break camp. You will march. You will build a new camp. You will eat. You will stand guard. You will sleep. And then you will do it all again. This is your life. And tonight you will hear what that life sounds like. You will feel what it feels like. You will understand in some small way what it meant to carry the weight of Rome on your shoulders. The sky is lightening now. The camp is waking. The day is beginning. And so are you. The camp is waking, but it does not wake gently. There is no gradual stirring, no slow stretching into consciousness. There is a horn, sharp, loud, cutting through the pre-dawn darkness like a blade. It sounds once, then again, and the camp responds immediately. You are already awake. You have been awake for some time, lying in the tent with 7 other men, waiting for the signal. Sleep ended hours ago, sometime in the deep night when your body decided it had rested enough. Or perhaps you never truly slept at all. It is hard to say. The nights blur together. Around you, the other men in your contubernum are moving, sitting up, reaching for boots, muttering quiet words you cannot quite hear. No one complains. No one groans. There is only movement, efficient and practiced, the same movements you have all made 1,000 times before. The tent is small, 8 men packed into a space barely large enough to lie down. You can smell them. Sweat, leather, smoke from yesterday's fire still clinging to wool and skin. Breath, bodies, the smell of men who have been marching and sleeping and living in close quarters for weeks. You sit up. Your back aches. The ground beneath you is hard, even with the thin bedroll you sleep on. You slept in your tunic, as you always do. It is easier that way, faster. One less thing to manage when the horn sounds. You reach for your boots. Caligay. Heavy leather sandals with iron hobnails on the soles. They are cold to the touch. Everything is cold this early. You pull them on, lacing them quickly, tying the straps around your calves. The motion is automatic. You do not think about it. Your hands know what to do. Outside the tent, you can hear the camp coming alive. Voices, footsteps, the clatter of equipment being moved, the creak of wooden stakes being pulled from the earth. The sounds are familiar, comforting in a way. The sounds of order, of men doing what they are supposed to do. One of your tent mates, Marcus, is already standing, rolling his bedding into a tight bundle. He does not speak. None of you speak much in the mornings. There is nothing to say. The routine is the same every day. Wake, pack, prepare, march. You roll your own bedding, compressing it as tightly as you can. It will hang from your furka pole later, along with everything else you own. Every bit of space matters. Every ounce of weight matters. You have learned to pack efficiently, to waste nothing. The tent flap opens and cold air rushes in. sharp, biting. You can see your breath again, thicker now in the confined space. One of the men steps outside to relieve himself. Another follows. You wait your turn. There is no privacy in the Legion, no modesty. 8 men sharing a tent do not have the luxury of embarrassment. Outside, the sky is lighter now, still dark, but the stars are fading. The eastern horizon is beginning to glow, a pale grey blue that promises dawn. The camp is a grid of tents and temporary structures, all identical, all arranged in perfect order. You know exactly where you are within that grid. Everyone does. If the camp were attacked, you would know where to go, where your sentry would form up, where the commander's tent stands in the center. But there will be no attack this morning. There is only the routine, the breaking of camp, the preparation for another march. You step outside and the cold hits you fully. The air smells different out here, cleaner, less concentrated. You can smell smoke from the dying fires, earth from the trenches, the faint scent of animals from the pack mules and oxen penned at the edge of camp. The latrines are a short walk away, a trench dug yesterday, already half filled. You do your business quickly, efficiently, and return to the tent. The others are doing the same, a constant stream of men moving through the camp, all following the same morning pattern. Back at the tent, the work begins in earnest. The tent itself must come down. 8 men built it yesterday. 8 men will dismantle it now. You and your tent mates move without speaking, each man knowing his role. The stakes are pulled. The leather panels are loosened. The wooden frame is collapsed, piece by piece, into a bundle that can be carried. Everything has a place. The tent poles are tied together. The leather is folded, not rolled. The stakes are counted. 8 men are responsible for this tent, and if a single stake is missing, all 8 will answer for it. You work quickly, but not frantically. There is no need to rush. The entire camp is doing the same thing. Thousands of men, all breaking down thousands of tents, all at the same time. The centurion will inspect. He always does. And if anything is missing, if anything is done incorrectly, there will be punishment. Extra duties, reduced rations, a blow from his vine staff, the mark of his rank and his authority. So you are careful. You count the stakes twice. You check the knots. You make sure the bundle is tight and secure. Around you, the camp is transforming. What was a fortified settlement just moments ago is becoming an empty field. The ramparts will be dismantled next. The trenches will be left open, useless to anyone who might come after. The gates will be taken apart, the wooden palisade pulled down and bundled for transport. But that is not your work. Your work is the tent. Your work is your gear. Your work is to be ready when the order comes to form up and march. The sky is brighter now. The sun has not yet appeared, but the darkness is lifting. You can see more clearly the faces of your tent mates, the organized chaos of the camp, the distant tree line beyond the perimeter. Your stomach tightens. Hunger. You have not eaten since yesterday's evening meal. There will be no breakfast. Not yet. You will eat when the march stops at midday. Until then, there is only water and movement. One of the men passes around a water skin. You take a drink. The water is cold, almost painfully so, but it helps. It wakes you fully, grounds you in the present moment. The tent is down. The bedding is rolled. Your personal effects are gathered and ready to be strapped to the furka. All that remains is to don your armor, shoulder your gear, and wait for the command. The camp is nearly empty now, just men and equipment standing in organized rows, waiting. The day has begun, and soon you will march. The armor comes next. You reach for your lorica hamata, your mail armor, a heavy shirt of iron rings linked together in endless rows. It weighs nearly 30 pounds by itself, and when you lift it, the rings make a sound like rain falling on metal, a soft, rustling sound that is somehow both delicate and heavy at once. You pull it over your head, feeling the weight settle onto your shoulders. The mail hangs to your thighs, covering your torso and upper legs. The rings are cold against your tunic, even through the fabric. They will warm eventually from your body heat, but for now they are cold and unforgiving. The weight is immediate, 30 pounds distributed across your shoulders and back. You shift slightly, adjusting the hang of it, letting your body remember how to carry this burden. You have worn this armor for years. It is as familiar as your own skin, but it is never comfortable, never light. It simply is. Some of the men in your century wear lorica segmentata instead, overlapping plates of iron that wrap around the torso and shoulders, held together with leather straps and bronze fittings. It offers better protection, perhaps, but it is more complicated, more pieces to maintain, more straps to check. You prefer the mail. It is simpler, and when a strap breaks on segmentata in the middle of a march, the whole thing can fall apart. Over the mail, you strap on your belt, thick leather studded with bronze. From it, hang your gladius on one side and your pugio on the other. The gladius is in its scabbard, the blade hidden, but you can feel its weight pulling at your hip. Short, brutal, built for stabbing in close quarters. You have used it before, you will use it again. The pugio, your dagger, is smaller, almost decorative, but it is sharp, and it has saved men before when everything else was lost. Your helmet comes next. Open-faced, made of iron and bronze, with cheek guards that frame your face but leave it exposed. The helmet is heavy, perhaps 5 pounds, and when you settle it onto your head, the weight presses down on your skull. You can feel it immediately, a dull pressure that will remain all day, but the helmet lets you see, lets you hear. Other helmets, like the Greek Corinthian style, cover the entire face, leaving only narrow slits for the eyes. You would be deaf and half blind. The Roman helmet is practical. It protects your head and neck but leaves you aware, alert, able to respond to commands. You are armored now, nearly 50 pounds of iron and leather added to your body, and you have not yet shouldered your pack. The furka waits. The wooden pole, smooth from years of use, rests against the bundled tent. You reach for it, lifting it, feeling its weight. The pole itself weighs perhaps 5 pounds, but what hangs from it weighs far more. You begin to attach your gear. The bedroll first, tied securely to one end of the furka, then your spare tunic, rolled tightly and strapped down. Your cooking pot, a simple bronze vessel, blackened from countless fires. It hangs from a hook, swinging slightly as you work. The entrenching tool comes next. A shovel, in your case. Some men carry pickaxes. The tool is essential. Every night, you will dig. Trenches, ramparts, holes for stakes. The tool is heavy, iron-headed and wooden-handled, but without it, there is no camp. And without a camp, there is no safety. Stakes for the palisade. Long, sharpened wooden stakes that will be driven into the earth tonight to form the camp's outer wall. You carry several, bundled together, tied to the furka. They are awkward. They jab at you as you move, but they are necessary. Food. A small portion of grain, wrapped in cloth. Enough for a day, maybe 2. You will grind it later when the march stops and mix it with water to make porridge. or bake it into hardtack if there is time and fuel for a fire. The grain is your primary ration. Everything else, vegetables, cheese, meat, you must forage or buy from the camp followers. Rope, leather straps, a whetstone for sharpening your gladius, a small kit for repairing your gear, needle and thread, a piece of cloth for cleaning, personal items, a letter from home, folded and worn from reading, a small pouch of coins, saved carefully from your meager pay. These things are precious. If you lose them, they are gone. Everything has its place on the furka. You have packed this load 1,000 times. Your hands know where each item goes, how to balance the weight, how to tie the knots so nothing shifts or falls during the march. When it is done, the furka weighs over 60 pounds. 60 pounds in addition to the 50 pounds of armor and weapons you already wear. 110 pounds total, and you will carry this for 20 miles, maybe more. You lift the furka, settling it onto your shoulder. The pole digs into the muscle there, finding the groove it has worn over years of marching. The weight is distributed along the length of the pole, balanced carefully, but it is still immense. Your knees feel it. Your back feels it. Your feet feel it. But this is your burden. This is what it means to be a legionary. To carry everything you need to survive. To be your own supply train. To be able to move quickly because you are not waiting for wagons or pack animals. To be self-sufficient. Around you, the other men in your contubernium are doing the same. Donning armor, packing furkas, checking straps, counting stakes. The movements are identical, practiced, efficient. The centurion appears, moving between the groups of men, his vine staff in hand. He does not speak. He does not need to. His eyes move over each man, checking armor, checking gear, checking readiness. If something is wrong, he will see it. And if he sees it, there will be consequences. He pauses in front of you. His gaze moves from your helmet to your belt to the furka on your shoulder. He says nothing. After a moment, he moves on. You have passed inspection. Everything is in order. The camp is nearly empty now. Where there were tents and fires and the organized chaos of thousands of men, there is now just open ground. Bare earth, flattened grass. The trenches remain, useless now, waiting to be reclaimed by nature. The ramparts are gone. The gates are gone. The camp has been erased. Thousands of men stand in formation, arranged by century, by cohort, by legion. You know your place in that formation. You have marched in this position for years. You are in the center of your century, surrounded by men you know, led by a centurion you trust, part of a machine far larger than yourself. Your scutum, your shield, rests against your leg. You have not yet picked it up. That will come when the order is given to march. For now, it waits, heavy, curved, made of wood and leather and bronze. It weighs another 20 pounds. When you lift it, when you add it to the armor and the furka and the weapons, you will be carrying over 130 pounds. But not yet. For now, you stand. You wait. You feel the weight you already carry and prepare yourself for the weight to come. The sun is rising. The sky is lighter. The stars gone. The world coming into focus. You can see the road ahead. Roman built, straight, paved with stone and gravel. It stretches into the distance, cutting through the landscape like a scar. That is where you are going. Down that road. For 20 miles. Until the sun sets. Until the engineers find a suitable place to stop. Until you build another camp, identical to the one you just destroyed. The command has not yet been given, but it will come. It always does. You shift the furka on your shoulder. You check your belt. You breathe. And you wait. The command comes, not a shout, not a dramatic call to arms, just a voice clear and firm, carrying across the assembled centuries. The order to march. You reach down and lift your scutum. The shield is heavy, 20 pounds of curved wood covered in leather and reinforced with bronze along the edges and at the boss in the center. It is taller than it is wide, designed to protect your entire body when you crouch behind it. But you are not crouching now. You are marching, and the scutum must be carried. You grip it by the horizontal handle in the center, holding it against your left side. The weight pulls at your arm immediately. 20 pounds does not sound like much, but 20 pounds held away from your body, carried for hours, for miles, becomes everything. Your right hand steadies the furka on your shoulder, 110 pounds there, 20 pounds in your left hand, 50 pounds of armor on your body, 130 pounds total, plus your own weight, your own body which must carry all of this forward, step after step, mile after mile. The formation begins to move, not all at once. The army moves in sections, in a specific order. Scouts first, light infantry and archers moving ahead to watch for ambush, to clear the road, to ensure the way is safe. Then picked legionaries, the best men, forming an advance guard. You are not in the advance guard. You are in the main body of the legion, in the center of the column. You will march with your century, with your cohort, surrounded by thousands of other men, all moving in the same direction, all following the same road. The standards move first. The eagle of the legion, the most sacred object the army possesses, carried by the aquilifer. To lose the eagle is the greatest shame. Entire campaigns have been fought to recover lost eagles. Men have died protecting them. Behind the eagle, the standards of each cohort, each century. Tall poles topped with images and symbols, discs and wreaths, the marks of honor and identity. You can see your century's standard ahead of you, rising above the heads of the men in front. As long as you can see that standard, you know where you are. You know where you belong. The column begins to move, slowly at first, a shuffling forward, feet finding rhythm, bodies adjusting to weight, then smoother, faster, the pace of a Roman march. You step forward, left foot, left, right. The road beneath you is solid, Roman built, layers of gravel and stone, compacted and leveled, wide enough for the column to march 6 abreast. The surface is even. Your feet find purchase easily. The hobnails on your caligae click against the stone with each step, a sound that multiplies across thousands of men into a steady, rhythmic percussion. Click, 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 thousands of feet, thousands of iron hobnails striking stone. The sound of the legion on the march. You settle into the rhythm, left, right, left, right. The furka pole digs into your shoulder, but you shift slightly, adjusting the angle, and the pressure eases. The scutum pulls at your left arm, but you know how to carry it, how to let the weight hang without fighting it. This is not your first march. This is not your 100th march. You have marched so many times that your body knows what to do without thought. Your feet know the rhythm. Your shoulders know the weight. Your mind can drift while your body continues forward, but you do not let your mind drift too far. That is dangerous. A legionary who is not paying attention can stumble, can fall out of formation, can cause problems for the men around him. So you remain aware, present, focused on the march. The sun is higher now. The morning cold is fading. You can feel warmth beginning to build, though the air is still cool. The mail on your shoulders is no longer cold. It has warmed from your body heat, and now it sits heavy and present against your back and chest. You breathe steadily, in through your nose, out through your mouth. The breathing is important. If you breathe too fast, you will tire quickly. If you breathe too shallow, you will not get enough air. You have learned to breathe deeply, slowly, matching your breath to your steps. 4 steps, inhale. 4 steps, exhale. 4 steps, inhale. 4 steps, exhale. The rhythm becomes everything. Feet and breath and the weight on your shoulders and the road stretching ahead. The countryside moves past slowly. Fields, trees, a distant farmhouse, smoke rising from its chimney. The people who live here are not Roman citizens, not yet. Perhaps they will be someday if Rome holds this territory long enough. Or perhaps they will resist, and the legion will return to pacify them. You do not think about that. You think about the march. The man in front of you is named Gaius. You can see the back of his helmet, the curve of his shield, the furca pole on his shoulder swaying slightly with each step. He is marching at the same pace as you. Everyone is. The entire column moves as one, a single organism stretching for miles along the road. Behind you is Titus. You cannot see him, but you know he is there. You can hear his breathing, steady and controlled. You can hear the click of his hobnails, perfectly synchronized with your own. To your left is Lucius. To your right is Servius. You know these men. You have marched with them for years. You know their strengths and weaknesses. You know who complains and who stays silent. You know who will help if you stumble and who will look away. The century marches together, 80 men, 6 abreast, moving in formation. The centurion walks alongside, his vine staff in hand, watching, always watching. If someone falls out of step, if someone slows, if someone shows weakness, he will see it. And there will be consequences. But no one falls out of step. This is a well-trained century. These are experienced men. You march together because you have no choice, but also because it is easier together. The rhythm of the group carries each individual forward. The weight is constant. It does not lessen. It does not ease. The furca digs into your shoulder. The scutum pulls at your arm. The armor presses down on your body. Your feet ache inside your caligae. Your back aches. Your legs ache. But you do not stop. Stopping is not an option. The march continues until the command is given to halt, and that command will not come for hours yet. You shift the scutum slightly, transferring it from your left hand to rest against your hip for a moment, giving your arm a brief respite, then back to your hand. You cannot carry it on your hip for long. It throws off your balance. But a few moments of relief helps. The sun continues to rise. The air continues to warm. You can feel sweat beginning to form beneath your armor, a thin layer of moisture between your skin and your tunic. It will get worse as the day progresses. By midday, you will be drenched. The mail will chafe. The leather straps will rub, but that is hours away. For now, there is only the march, the rhythm, the road, the weight, left, right, click, 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 click. The sound of thousands of men moving as one, the sound of Rome advancing. You do not think about the destination. You do not think about tonight's camp. You do not think about tomorrow's march or the march after that. You think about the next step, and then the next, and then the next. This is how distance is covered. Not all at once, but one step at a time, repeated endlessly, until the miles fall away behind you. The road stretches ahead, long, straight, unforgiving, and you march. The command comes to halt. You hear it pass down the column, century by century, cohort by cohort. A single word, repeated by centurions, carried on the voices of thousands of men. Halt. The rhythm breaks. The clicking of hobnails stops. The column slows, then stops entirely. Thousands of men coming to rest at once. You lower the scutum, letting it rest against your leg. The relief in your left arm is immediate and overwhelming. The shield has been pulling at you for hours, a constant downward drag, and now that it is gone, your arm feels strangely light, almost weightless. You flex your fingers, working feeling back into them. The furka remains on your shoulder. You do not remove it yet, not until you know how long the halt will last. If this is a brief stop, just a few minutes to catch breath and adjust gear, there is no point in unshoulder your pack only to lift it again moments later. Around you, men are doing the same, lowering shields, shifting weight, breathing deeply. No one sits, not yet. Sitting requires removing the furka, and that is effort. So you stand, grateful simply to be still. Your legs ache, a deep, persistent ache that runs from your feet up through your calves and into your thighs. You have been walking for hours. The road has been flat, mostly, but even flat ground becomes difficult after enough miles. Your feet are sore inside your caligay. The hobnails that give you traction on the road also create pressure points, hard spots where iron presses through leather and into flesh. You shift your weight from one foot to the other, giving each a moment of relief. The sun is directly overhead now, midday. The air is warm, though not hot. A breeze moves across the column, carrying with it the smell of dust and sweat and leather. You can smell yourself, all of you, the men around you, thousands of bodies exerting themselves packed close together. The centurion walks past, his vine staff still in hand. He says nothing. This is an expected halt, a necessary halt. Even legionaries need to rest. You reach for your water skin, pulling it from where it hangs on your belt. The leather is warm to the touch, heated by the sun and by your body. You uncork it and drink. The water is not cold. It has not been cold since this morning, but it is wet, and that is enough. You drink slowly, not too much. There is still half a day's march ahead, and you do not know when you will have the chance to refill the skin. There are streams and rivers along the route, places where the column can stop and the men can drink and refill their supplies. But you are not at one of those places now. So you drink enough to wet your throat, to ease the dryness in your mouth, and then you stop. You cork the water skin and hang it back on your belt. Around you, others are doing the same. Drinking, adjusting gear, wiping sweat from their faces. A few men are eating, pulling small pieces of dried meat or hard cheese from their packs. You are not eating yet. You will eat tonight, when camp is built and there is time to prepare a proper meal. For now, water is enough. Marcus, one of your tent mates, is standing nearby. He has removed his helmet and is running a hand through his hair, which is dark and matted with sweat. He catches your eye and nods. You nod back. No words are exchanged. There is nothing to say. This is just another march, another halt, another moment of rest before the march continues. You look ahead, down the road. The column stretches forward as far as you can see, a line of men and standards and shields, all still, all waiting. Behind you, the same. Thousands of men, all stopped, all resting in the same way, all preparing to move again. The road itself is Roman-made, as all the roads in this region are, straight, efficient, built to last. The surface is gravel and stone, packed hard, with ditches on either side for drainage. These roads are one of Rome's greatest tools. They allow the legions to move quickly, to deploy rapidly, to maintain control over vast territories. You have marched on roads like this for years, in rain, in heat, in snow. The roads endure. They do not wash away. They do not become mud. They remain solid, reliable, carrying the legions wherever they need to go. Somewhere ahead, the engineers are already scouting for tonight's campsite. They will find a suitable location, flat ground, near water if possible, defensible. They will mark it out, measure it, prepare it, and when the column arrives, you will begin building. Again. But that is hours away. For now, there is only this rest, this brief pause in the rhythm of the march. You shift the furka on your shoulder again. The pole has worn a groove there, a permanent indentation in the muscle. You can feel it. The furka sits in that groove naturally now, almost comfortably, though comfort is not the right word. Familiarity, perhaps. Acceptance. Your stomach tightens slightly. Hunger. You have not eaten since last night. But hunger is familiar too. You will eat tonight. You will grind your grain ration, mix it with water, cook it over a fire. Porridge. Simple. Filling. Enough to sustain you for another day. Until then, there is water, and there is rest. The centurion calls out. The halt is over. Time to move. You hear the command pass down the line. Prepare to march. You lift the scutum again, feeling its weight return to your arm. The brief rest has helped, but the weight is still the same. 20 pounds. Pulling. Constant. The formation begins to move. Slowly at first, then finding its rhythm again. Feet begin to click against stone. Breathing steadies. The column becomes a single organism once more, moving forward, always forward. You fall back into the rhythm. Left, right, The furka digs into your shoulder. The scutum pulls at your arm. The armor presses down, but you are rested, slightly, enough to continue. The road stretches ahead. Miles still to cover. Hours still to march. You do not think about the distance remaining. You think about the next step. Left, right. The march continues. The column slows, not a halt, not a rest, but a gradual slowing, a change in the rhythm that you feel before you understand it. The clicking of hobnails becomes less regular. The pace loosens. Men begin to shift their weight, to look ahead, to sense that something is changing. Word passes down the line. The engineers have found a site. The march is ending. Relief floods through you, though you do not show it. Your face remains blank. Your posture remains upright. But inside, something loosens. The march is over. For today at least, the march is over. The column continues forward, but slower now, more deliberate. You can see movement ahead, figures breaking away from the main body. The engineers, specialist soldiers who move ahead to scout, to measure, to mark out the boundaries of tonight's camp. They carry tools, measuring rods, ropes, stakes. They will find flat ground, preferably near water. They will measure a square or rectangle large enough to hold the entire legion and its support staff. They will mark the four corners. They will designate where the gates will be, where the commander's tent will stand in the center, where each cohort will be assigned. This happens every night. The same process, the same precision. A Roman camp is not built randomly. It is built according to a plan that every legionary knows, a layout so consistent that even in complete darkness, you would know where to go, where your century would form up, where the centurion's tent would be. The column moves forward into the marked area and begins to spread out. Sentries peel away from the main body, moving to their assigned positions. Your sentry goes to its designated spot, the same relative position it always occupies. If this camp were overlaid on last night's camp, you would be standing in the exact same place within the structure. The centurion calls out, "Halt! Form up! You stop! The men around you stop!" Your sentry stands together, 80 men in formation, waiting for the next command. The command comes, "Ground your gear." Finally, you shift the furka forward, lowering it from your shoulder. The relief is extraordinary. The pole has been digging into that groove in your muscle for hours, and now it is gone. Your shoulder feels light, strange, almost hollow. You set the furka on the ground carefully, not letting it fall. Everything tied to it is valuable. Everything must be accounted for. You lower your scutum as well, leaning it against the furka. Your left arm, finally free of the shield's weight, hangs at your side. You flex it, shake it, work feeling back into the muscles. Around you, thousands of men are doing the same. The sound of equipment being set down, of men breathing deeply, of bodies adjusting to the absence of weight. It is a sound of relief, collective, shared. But there is no time to rest, not yet. The centurion is already calling out assignments. Who will dig? Who will carry stakes? Who will build the ramparts? The work must begin immediately. The sun is lowering in the western sky. There are perhaps 3, maybe 4 hours of daylight left. The camp must be built before darkness falls. You are assigned to digging. You reach for your entrenching tool, the shovel you have carried all day on your furka. The wooden handle is smooth from use. The iron blade is heavy, solid. You have dug with this tool more times than you can count. The perimeter of the camp has already been marked by the engineers, a line of stakes driven into the ground, spaced evenly, outlining where the trench will be dug. The trench will run the entire perimeter, a defensive ditch that will make it harder for enemies to reach the camp's walls. You move to your assigned section of the perimeter. Other men from your sentry are already there, shovels in hand. No one speaks. There is nothing to say. This is the work. This is what must be done. You drive the shovel into the earth. The ground is firm but not hard. Good digging. The blade sinks in, and you lever out a chunk of soil, tossing it to the side, away from the trench line. Then again, and again. The motion is simple, repetitive. Drive the blade in, lever it out, toss the soil, drive, lever, toss. Your shoulders ache from the march, but you ignore the ache. Your back protests, but you ignore that too. The work must be done. There is no choice, no alternative. Around you, hundreds of other men are digging their own sections of the trench. The sound of shovels biting into earth, of soil being moved, of men breathing heavily as they work. It is a constant sound, rhythmic, like the march but different. The rhythm of labor instead of the rhythm of movement. Sweat begins to form on your forehead, running down into your eyes. You wipe it away with the back of your hand and continue digging. The trench is beginning to take shape, a shallow groove at first, then deeper, wider, more defined. The centurion walks along the perimeter, watching, checking depth, checking width. If the trench is not deep enough, he will order it dug deeper. If it is not wide enough, it will be widened. There is a standard, a requirement. The trench must be sufficient to slow an enemy, to create an obstacle. You dig deeper. The pile of displaced soil grows beside the trench. That soil will be used for the rampart, packed and shaped into a defensive wall behind the trench. Nothing is wasted. Every shovelful has a purpose. Your hands are beginning to ache. The wooden handle of the shovel rubs against your palms, creating friction. You have calluses there, thick and hard from years of this work, but even calluses can wear thin. You will have blisters tonight. Small ones. They will heal. They always do. You do not stop digging. The sun is lower now. The light is changing, becoming softer, more golden. Shadows are lengthening across the camp. The work continues. Drive, lever, toss. Drive, lever, toss. The trench grows deeper, and the camp begins to rise around you. The trench deepens. You have been digging for over an hour now. The sun is lower, the shadows longer, but the work does not stop. Your section of the trench is nearly complete. 3 feet deep, 4 feet wide, enough to trip an enemy, to slow a charge, to create an obstacle between the camp and anyone who might attack in the night. Your shoulders burn, your back aches, your hands, despite their calluses, are raw. But you keep digging. Drive, lever, toss. The rhythm has become automatic. Your body knows what to do even as your mind drifts. Around the entire perimeter of the camp, hundreds of men are doing the same, digging their assigned sections, creating a continuous trench that will encircle the entire legion. When it is finished, when all the sections connect, the camp will be ringed by a ditch that no enemy can cross easily. The centurion walks past again. He pauses at your section, looking down into the trench. He says nothing, he does not need to. The trench is the correct depth, the correct width. It meets the standard. He moves on. You climb out of the trench, your legs heavy, your boots caked with dirt. The digging is finished, but the work is not. The soil you have removed, the piles of earth heaped beside the trench, must now be used. It will become the rampart, the defensive wall that will rise behind the trench, creating a second barrier, a raised platform from which guards can watch and defenders can fight if needed. Other men from your century are already moving the soil, shoveling it onto the inner side of the trench, packing it down, shaping it. You join them. The shovel feels heavier now. Your arms are tired, but the work continues. Shovelful by shovelful, the rampart grows. The loose soil is packed tight, compressed, shaped into a wall. It rises slowly, 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, high enough to provide cover, high enough to make the camp more defensible. The soil is mixed with the sod that was removed when the trench was first dug. The grass and roots help bind the earth together, giving the rampart more stability. This is not permanent construction. This camp will be torn down tomorrow morning, just as it was built tonight. But for tonight, for the hours of darkness ahead, it must be solid. It must hold. You pack the soil with the flat of your shovel, striking it repeatedly, compressing it. Thud, thud, thud. The sound echoes along the perimeter as hundreds of other men do the same. The camp is filled with the sound of construction, of labor, of men building their nightly fortress. Behind you, other men are unloading the wooden stakes from the furcus, long sharpened poles that were carried all day for this purpose. The stakes will form the palisade, the wooden wall that will top the rampart and create the final layer of defense. The stakes are prefabricated, cut and sharpened before the campaign began, bundled and distributed among the men. Each legionary carries several. When combined, when all the stakes are placed together, they form a continuous wall around the entire camp. You move to help with the palisade. The stakes are heavy, awkward to handle. You carry one to the top of the rampart, where other men are already driving them into the earth. The stakes are placed close together, almost touching, creating a solid barrier with no gaps. Driving the stakes requires a mallet. Heavy, wooden. You lift it and bring it down on the top of the stake. Thud. The stake sinks a few inches into the packed earth of the rampart. Thud. Deeper. Thud. 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 Until the stake is secure, driven deep enough that it will not fall, will not shift, will stand firm through the night. You move to the next stake, and the next, and the next. Each one must be driven. Each one must be secure. The work is monotonous, repetitive, exhausting, but necessary. The palisade grows, stake by stake, section by section. It rises along the top of the rampart. When it is finished, it will be tall enough that an enemy cannot easily climb over, sharp enough that anyone who tries will be impaled, solid enough that it cannot be pushed down without significant effort. This is Roman engineering, practical, efficient, brutal. The sun is touching the horizon now. The light is fading, but the camp is taking shape. The trench is complete. The rampart is built. The palisade is rising. The gates come next. There are 4 gates, one on each side of the camp, north, south, east, west. Each gate is a gap in the palisade, a controlled entrance, a point where men and supplies can pass in and out. The gates are not simple openings. They are structured, defended. Each gate is flanked by additional stakes, creating a narrow passage that can be easily guarded. Wooden beams are laid across the top, creating a frame. The gates can be closed with more wooden barriers, stacked and lashed together if the camp comes under attack. You are not assigned to gate construction. That is work for the engineers, for the specialists. You return to the palisade, driving more stakes, ensuring the wall is continuous, solid, unbroken except for the designated gates. Inside the perimeter, the camp is being organized. Tents are going up. The leather panels are unfolded, the wooden frames assembled, the structures taking shape in neat, orderly rows. Each century has its assigned area. Each tent is placed in the same relative position it occupied in last night's camp and will occupy in tomorrow night's camp. The commander's tent is already rising in the center of the camp, larger than the others, more elaborate, a symbol of authority and command. Around it, the tents of the officers, the supply storage, the medical area, everything laid out in a grid. Orderly, predictable, functional. Your own tent will go up soon. But first, the defenses must be completed. The palisade must be finished. Security comes first. Shelter comes second. You drive another stake, and another. Your arms are numb. Your shoulders scream. But the work is nearly done. The last stake is driven. The palisade is complete. A continuous wooden wall circling the entire camp, broken only by the 4 gates. The trench lies beyond it, a dark line in the fading light. The rampart rises behind the trench, solid and imposing. The camp is fortified. In a few hours, working together, thousands of men have built a temporary fortress, complete with defensive ditches, earthen walls, wooden palisades, and controlled gates. A camp that did not exist this morning. A camp that will be torn down tomorrow. But tonight, it is home. It is safety. It is Rome, planted in hostile territory. The centurion calls out, "The work is finished. Return to your century's area. Prepare your tents." You lower the mallet, setting it down carefully. Your hands are shaking slightly from exertion. You wipe sweat from your face, though the evening air is cooling now, the heat of the day fading. You walk back toward your century's assigned area, your legs heavy, your entire body aching. You have marched 20 miles today. You have dug a trench. You have built a rampart. You have driven stakes into the earth. And now, finally, you will set up your tent. But even that is work. Even that requires effort. The 8 men of your contubernium gather around the bundled tent components. The leather panels, the wooden poles, the stakes and ropes. You have assembled this tent so many times that you could do it blind. Each man knows his role. Each piece has its place. The poles are fitted together, forming the frame. The leather is stretched over the frame, pulled tight, lashed down. The stakes are driven into the ground, securing the corners. The ropes are tied, creating tension, holding everything in place. In minutes, the tent is standing. Small, simple, barely large enough for 8 men to lie down. But it is shelter. It is a roof. It is protection from the elements. Inside, you will spread your bedroll. You will lie shoulder to shoulder with 7 other men. You will sleep, if sleep comes, in the close, warm darkness, surrounded by breathing and snoring and the smell of unwashed bodies. But that is later. For now there is one more task. You must eat. Hunger is no longer a distant sensation. It is immediate, demanding. You have not eaten since last night. Your body has marched 20 miles, dug trenches, built ramparts, driven stakes, and now it requires fuel. The 8 men of your contubernium gather near your tent. You are a mess unit as well as a tent group. You cook together, eat together, share the labor of food preparation just as you share the labor of everything else. One of the men, Quintus, has already retrieved the grain rations. Each contubernium receives a portion of wheat, measured out by the camp's supply officers. The grain is stored in large sacks, guarded carefully, distributed fairly. It is the foundation of your diet. Everything else, vegetables, cheese, meat, is supplemental, optional, but the grain is guaranteed. The grain is survival. Quintus pours the grain onto a flat stone. It is pale, hard, individual kernels that must be transformed into something edible. You cannot simply chew wheat kernels. They are too hard, too dry. They must be ground into flour first. The grinding stones are pulled from the packs. 2 stones, one flat, one rounded. Simple tools that have been used for this purpose since before Rome existed. The grain is spread on the flat stone. The rounded stone is pressed down on top and moved in circles, crushing the kernels, breaking them down into powder. You take a turn at the grinding. The motion is familiar. Press down, move in circles. The stone grates against stone, a rough grinding sound that you can feel through your hands. The kernels crack and crumble beneath the weight. Slowly, they become flour. It is tedious work, monotonous. Your arms are already exhausted from the day's labor, and grinding requires steady pressure, constant motion. But it must be done. There is no other way to make the grain edible. You grind for several minutes, then pass the stones to Marcus. He takes over, continuing the work while you rest your arms. The contubernium operates as a unit. No one man does all the work. The labor is shared. While the grinding continues, another man, Rufus, is preparing the fire. A small pit has been dug near the tent. Kindling has been gathered. Dry grass, small sticks, anything that will burn. Rufus arranges it carefully, then strikes flint against iron, creating sparks. The sparks catch. A small flame appears. He feeds it carefully, adding more kindling, then larger sticks, building the fire slowly until it is stable and hot. The cooking pot is retrieved. Bronze, blackened from countless fires. It has a handle and a wide mouth. It will hold the porridge. The grinding is finished. The grain has been reduced to flour, coarse flour, not fine like what you might get in a city bakery, but good enough, functional. Water is added to the flour, not too much, not too little. The mixture is stirred with a wooden spoon, combining the flour and water into a thick paste. This is porridge, pulse. the staple meal of the Roman legionary. The pot is placed over the fire. The porridge must be cooked, heated until it thickens and becomes palatable. Rufus stirs it constantly, preventing it from burning, keeping it moving so it cooks evenly. The smell of cooking grain fills the air. It is not an appetizing smell, not rich or savory, just grain, cooked wheat, simple, plain, but to your empty stomach, it smells like relief. Other contubernia are doing the same. All around the camp, small fires are burning. Pots are heating. The smell of cooking grain mingles with the smell of wood smoke, creating a distinct aroma. The smell of a Roman camp at evening, familiar, comforting in its predictability. Some men have supplements to add to their porridge, a bit of cheese crumbled in, some dried meat torn into small pieces, a few vegetables if they manage to forage or purchase them from the camp followers who travel with the legion, selling food and other goods. Your contubernium has a small piece of salted pork, not much, just enough to add a bit of flavour. Quintus cuts it into tiny pieces and adds it to the pot. The pork fat melts into the porridge, giving it a slight richness. It will not make the porridge delicious, but it will make it more than just bland grain paste. The porridge thickens. Rufus stirs. The fire crackles. The light is fading. The sky is darkening. The first stars are appearing. Finally, the porridge is ready. Rufus removes the pot from the fire, setting it on the ground. The 8 of you gather around it. There are no individual bowls, no plates. The pot is communal. Each man has a wooden spoon, and you eat directly from the pot, taking turns, sharing. You dip your spoon into the hot porridge, scooping out a mouthful. It is thick, heavy. It burns your tongue slightly, but you do not care. You are too hungry to care. The taste is bland. The texture is pasty, but it fills your stomach. It provides energy. It is food. You eat in silence, all 8 of you, dipping spoons, chewing, swallowing. The porridge disappears quickly. 8 hungry men can empty a pot in minutes. When the pot is nearly empty, someone produces a piece of hard bread, hardtack, baked days ago, dry and tough. It is broken into pieces and used to scrape the last of the porridge from the bottom of the pot. Nothing is wasted. You chew the hardtack slowly. It is difficult to chew. Your jaw works, breaking down the tough bread, mixing it with the remnants of porridge. Eventually, it softens enough to swallow. The meal is finished. Your stomach is full. Not satisfied exactly. Not pleasantly full like after a feast, but full enough. The hunger is gone. The gnawing emptiness has been replaced with the heavy feeling of digested grain. The pot must be cleaned. Rufus takes it to the water supply, a designated area where buckets of water have been placed for the camp's use. He scrubs the pot with sand and water, removing the residue, preparing it for tomorrow's meal. The pot will be packed onto the furka in the morning, carried all day, and used again tomorrow night. The fire is allowed to burn down. The embers will provide a bit of warmth as the night grows colder, but the flames are not fed. Fire is a risk in a military camp. Uncontrolled fire can spread, so fires are kept small, monitored, and allowed to die naturally. You sit near the dying fire for a moment, feeling the warmth on your face. Your body is heavy, exhausted. The meal sits in your stomach like a weight. You can feel every muscle aching. Your feet throb, your shoulders burn. Your hands are raw from the shovel and the mallet. But you are fed. The camp is built. The defenses are in place. For tonight, you are as safe as you can be. Around the camp, other men are finishing their meals. Conversations are quiet, low voices, laughter occasionally, brief and subdued. Men are tired. The day has been long. Tomorrow will be the same. Guard duty rosters are being assigned. You hear the centurion's voice calling out names. You listen, waiting to hear if you are assigned to a watch tonight. Your name is called. Third watch, the deepest part of the night. You will sleep for a few hours, then wake to stand guard, then sleep again if there is time before dawn. You nod, acknowledging the assignment. There is no point in complaining. Guard duty rotates. Everyone takes their turn. Tonight, it is yours, but that is hours away. For now, there is a brief window of time. Time to sit, to rest, to let your body recover slightly before the next task. You lean back against the side of the tent. The leather is cool against your shoulders. The stars are bright overhead. The camp is settling. The noise of construction has faded, replaced by the quieter sounds of men resting, talking, breathing. This is the rhythm of the Legion. Work, eat, rest briefly, work again. Tomorrow, you will wake before dawn. You will break down this camp. You will pack your furka. You will march 20 miles. You will build another camp. You will eat another meal of grain porridge. And the day after that, the same. And the day after that, for years, until your service is complete, or until you die. This is your life. But for now, for this moment, you are still. You are fed. You are as comfortable as you will be. You close your eyes, and you wait for the call to guard duty. You do not sleep yet. The camp has settled into its evening rhythm. Most of the men have retreated to their tents. The fires have burned down to embers. The noise has faded, but the camp is not silent. It is never truly silent. Guards are being posted. The first watch is already in position. Men standing at the gates, on the ramparts, eyes scanning the darkness beyond the palisade. Watching, always watching. Security is absolute. The camp must be defended at all times. Even here, miles from any known enemy, even on a quiet night with no threat visible, the guards stand ready, because the threat might come. And if it does, the camp must not be caught unprepared. The password for the night has been distributed, a single word changed daily, known only to the soldiers of this legion. If someone approaches a guard post in the darkness, they must speak the password. If they cannot, they are treated as hostile. No exceptions. You know tonight's password. It was whispered down the line during the evening meal. You will need it when you go to your watch. When you approach the guard you are relieving, you will speak the password. He will recognize it. He will step aside, and you will take his place. But that is later. Third watch, the middle of the night. For now, you have time. You sit outside your tent, back against the leather wall, legs stretched out in front of you. The ground is hard beneath you, but you are too tired to care. Your entire body aches, every muscle, every joint. The weight of the day presses down on you, even now that you are still. Around the camp, you can hear the low sounds of men settling for the night. Quiet conversations, the rustle of bedrolls being unrolled, someone coughing, the occasional clink of equipment being adjusted. These sounds are familiar, comforting in their way. The sounds of the Legion at rest. The stars are bright, thousands of them, more than you ever see in Rome itself, where the buildings and the smoke dim the sky. Out here, in the open, far from cities, the stars are brilliant. Sharp points of light against the black. You do not know their names. You are not a navigator. But you know they are always there. Constant. Unchanging. While everything else in your life shifts and moves and marches forward, the stars remain. The air is cooling. The warmth of the day is gone. You can feel the chill creeping in, though it is not yet cold. In an hour, maybe 2, it will be cold enough that you will want your cloak. But for now, the cool air feels good against your skin. Your feet throb. You unlace your caligae, loosening them, giving your feet relief. You do not remove the sandals entirely. You will need them again soon. But loosening the straps helps. Your feet have swollen slightly from the march. The leather has rubbed in places. You will have blisters, small ones, nothing serious. They will heal while you march tomorrow, or they will not heal, and new blisters will form. Either way, you will continue marching. You flex your toes, working blood back into them. The relief is minor, but real. Marcus emerges from the tent, settling down beside you. He says nothing, just sits. His presence is companionable. You have shared tents with this man for years. You know his habits, his strengths, his weaknesses. You trust him as much as you trust anyone. After a while he speaks. His voice is low, tired. Third watch? You nod. He grunts. Second? You will both be awake in the deepest part of the night then, standing guard while others sleep. It is not ideal, but it is necessary, and it could be worse. First watch is the hardest, staying awake immediately after eating when your body wants to sleep. Third watch is difficult too, waking from sleep in the middle of the night. But second watch, Marcus's assignment, might be the worst. Waking once for guard duty, then trying to sleep again afterward, knowing you will be woken again at dawn. Neither of you complains. Complaining changes nothing. You sit together in silence. The camp continues its slow settling. The sounds grow quieter, fewer voices, more stillness. In the distance beyond the palisade, you can hear the night sounds of the countryside. Insects, the occasional call of a bird, the wind moving through grass. These sounds are not Roman. They belong to this place, wherever this place is. You do not know the name of this region. You have marched through so many regions that they blur together. Hills, forests, rivers, plains, all of it the same in the end. All of it just terrain to be crossed, territory to be controlled. The watch changes. You hear the quiet exchange at the gates as the first watch is relieved by the second watch. Marcus stands, stretching. He picks up his gladius, checks his belt, and walks toward his assigned post. You watch him go. A shadow moving through the dim camp, merging with other shadows. You remain sitting. You have a bit more time. Your eyes grow heavy. The exhaustion is catching up with you. You want to sleep. Your body is demanding sleep, but you cannot. Not yet. If you sleep now, you will have to be woken for your watch. It is better to stay awake, to rest without sleeping, to conserve what little energy you have for the hours ahead. You lean your head back against the tent. You close your eyes, but you do not sleep. You simply exist. Still, quiet, waiting. Time passes. You are not sure how much. Without the sun, without the position of the stars to guide you, time becomes fluid. Minutes feel like hours. Hours feel like minutes. A hand shakes your shoulder. You open your eyes. It is Titus, one of your tent mates, the man you are relieving. Third watch, he says quietly. You nod. You stand, your body protesting, stiff from sitting. You pick up your gladius. You adjust your belt. You are ready. You walk through the camp, moving carefully in the darkness. Other men are sleeping. You step over bedrolls, around tent ropes, navigating by memory and feel as much as by sight. You reach the rampart, the guard post. Titus is there, waiting. You speak the password. He nods, satisfied. He steps down from the rampart. and you take his place. You are alone now, standing on the earthen wall, the palisade rising beside you, the darkness stretching out beyond the camp. This is your watch, your responsibility. For the next 2 hours, you will stand here. You will watch. You will listen. You will ensure that nothing approaches the camp unseen. If you fall asleep, the penalty is death. You will not fall asleep. You stand. You watch. The night stretches ahead. The watch ends. 2 hours have passed. 2 hours of standing on the rampart, staring into darkness, listening to the night sounds, fighting the pull of exhaustion. But you did not fall asleep. You did not fail. And now your relief arrives, speaking the password, taking your place. You step down from the rampart, your legs are stiff, your feet ache. The cold has settled deep into your bones. You want nothing more than to lie down, to close your eyes, to surrender to the sleep your body has been demanding for hours. You walk back through the camp, carefully, quietly. Men are sleeping all around you. You can hear them, the steady rhythm of breathing, snoring, the occasional mutter of someone dreaming. The camp is full of sleeping soldiers, thousands of them, all packed into their tents, all resting before tomorrow's march begins again. You reach your tent, the small leather structure that you and 7 other men call home. You duck inside, moving slowly, trying not to disturb those already asleep. It is dark inside the tent, completely dark. No light penetrates the leather walls. You cannot see. You can only feel and hear. The space is cramped. 8 men in a tent barely large enough for 8 bedrolls. There is no room to stand, no room to move freely. You crouch, feeling your way forward, navigating by touch. Bodies are everywhere. You can feel them. Shoulders, legs, bedrolls pressed close together. The tent is warm from the heat of sleeping men. Warm and close and thick with the smell of unwashed bodies, sweat, breath, leather, wool. The smell is overwhelming in the confined space, but you are used to it. You have slept in this smell for years. You find your bedroll. It is exactly where you left it, in the same position it always occupies. You know this tent. You know where each man sleeps. Even in complete darkness, you know where you belong. You lower yourself onto the bedroll. The ground beneath is hard, unforgiving. The bedroll provides minimal cushioning, just a thin layer of wool and leather between your body and the earth. But it is enough. After a day like today, anything is enough. You lie on your back. Your body begins to relax. Slowly, muscle by muscle. The tension that has held you upright all day, that has carried you through the march and the digging and the watch, begins to release. To your left is Gaius. You can hear him breathing, slow, deep. He has been asleep for hours. To your right is Marcus, returned from his watch not long ago. His breathing is not yet steady. He is still settling, still trying to find sleep. The tent is full of breathing. 8 men, all breathing in different rhythms, some slow, some fast, some with a slight whistle or rasp. Quintus snores, not loudly, but consistently, a low rumbling sound that never quite stops. You have learned to sleep through it. You have learned to sleep through everything. Someone shifts position. You feel the movement through the ground, through the packed bodies. The tent is so small that any movement affects everyone. If one man rolls over, the others feel it. There is no privacy, no personal space. You are always aware of the presence of others, always touching, or nearly touching, shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip, feet near faces, bodies arranged like puzzle pieces, fitting together in the only way that allows 8 men to lie down in this small space. You close your eyes. The darkness behind your eyelids is the same as the darkness in the tent. Complete. Total. Your mind begins to drift. Thoughts fragment. The events of the day replay in scattered images. The march, the wait, the digging, the porridge, the stars, the watch. None of it coheres into narrative. Just flashes, sensations, memory and exhaustion blurring together. Your feet still throb, your shoulders still ache, your hands are still raw, but the pain is distant now, separated from you by layers of exhaustion. You are aware of it, but it does not matter. Nothing matters except sleep. Someone mutters in their sleep. Words you cannot understand. Another man shifts again, pulling his blanket tighter. The sounds of men trying to find comfort where there is no comfort. Trying to rest despite the hard ground, despite the crowding, despite the cold beginning to seep through the leather walls as the night deepens. You will sleep for a few hours, not many, 4 perhaps, maybe 5 if you are lucky. Then the horn will sound, dawn will come, the camp will wake, and it will all begin again. Tomorrow you will pack this tent. You will shoulder your furka, you will march 20 miles, you will dig another trench, you will build another rampart, you will eat another meal of grain porridge, you will stand another watch, and you will sleep in another tent, identical to this one, in a different location. And the day after that, the same, for 25 years, or until you die, whichever comes first. But you do not think about that now. You do not think about tomorrow. You think only about this moment, this breath, this darkness, this hard ground beneath you and the warm bodies around you and the exhaustion pulling you down into sleep. Your breathing slows, deepens, the rhythm of it matching the rhythm of the men around you, 8 men breathing together, 8 lives intertwined, sharing everything, the burden, the march, the labor, the tent, the sleep. You are not alone, you are never alone. Even in sleep you are surrounded, connected, part of something larger than yourself, part of the contubernium, part of the century, part of the cohort, part of the legion, part of Rome. The breathing continues, slow, steady, the sound of men sleeping, the sound of exhaustion finding relief, the sound of soldiers resting before the next march, the next battle, the next endless day. Somewhere in the camp, a guard stands watch. Somewhere beyond the palisade, the night continues. The stars move across the sky. The world turns. But inside this tent, there is only stillness, only warmth, only the slow descent into sleep. Your thoughts scatter completely. The fragments dissolve. The images fade. There is nothing now but darkness and breathing and sleep. Finally, sleep. The day is complete. You have lived through 24 hours in the life of a Roman legionary. Not a day of battle, not a day of glory, just a day, an ordinary day. The kind of day that repeats itself endlessly, across years, across decades, across the entire length of a soldier's service. You woke before dawn. You broke camp. You marched 20 miles carrying over 130 pounds of gear and armor. You dug a trench. You built a rampart. You drove stakes into the earth. You cooked a meal of grain porridge. You stood watch in the darkness. And you slept, finally, in a tent with 7 other men, on hard ground, surrounded by breathing and warmth and the smell of exhaustion. This was your day. And tomorrow will be the same, and the day after that. This is what it meant to be a legionary. Not the triumphs, not the parades through Rome with spoils of war and cheering crowds, not the glory that poets write about and historians record. This, the march, the wait, the labor, the routine. This is what built an empire. Not genius generals, though they mattered. Not superior tactics, though those helped. Not even Roman roads and engineering, though they were essential. It was this, the daily grind, the ability of thousands of men to carry impossible weight, to march impossible distances, to build complete fortified camps every single night, and then to do it all again the next day, and the next, and the next. The discipline, the endurance, the refusal to stop. That is what conquered the known world. You, the legionary, were not special. You were not a hero. You were one man among thousands, one small part of a vast machine, replaceable, expendable. If you fell, another man would take your place. If you died, another recruit would fill your position in the century. The legion would continue. Rome would continue. But without you, without men like you, willing to carry the weight, willing to endure the routine, willing to give 25 years of life to the endless march, without that, there would be no empire. The weight you carried was not just equipment. It was Rome itself. Every mile you marched extended Roman control. Every camp you built asserted Roman presence. Every watch you stood defended Roman territory. You were the physical manifestation of Roman power, not abstract, not symbolic, actual, real, present. The empire existed because you marched. It is easy to forget this, easy to think of Rome as emperors and senators, as laws and roads and aqueducts. But Rome was also this: sore feet and aching shoulders, grain porridge and hard ground, the click of hobnails on stone roads, the sound of thousands of men breathing together in the darkness. Rome was built one step at a time, one shovelful of earth at a time, one day at a time, by men who did not ask for glory, who did not expect recognition, who simply did what was required because there was no alternative, because this was the life they had chosen, or the life that had chosen them. 25 years. That is what you signed away when you enlisted. 25 years of marching, of digging, of standing watch, of sleeping in tents, of eating porridge, of carrying weight that never lightened, of routine that never varied. Most men did not survive the full term. Disease, battle, accidents, exhaustion. The 25 years were a promise Rome made, but a promise it could not always keep. You might serve 5 years and die of fever. You might serve 15 and fall in battle. You might serve 24 and succumb to injury just before your discharge. Or you might survive. You might complete the full term. And if you did, you would receive your discharge, your bonus. Perhaps a plot of land, a chance to retire, to live out whatever years remained as a veteran, as a citizen who had earned his place through service. But even that was uncertain. Even survival was not guaranteed to bring peace. Some men could not adjust to civilian life after decades in the Legion. Some found they had no family left, no home to return to. Some re-enlisted, unable to imagine life outside the routine, outside the structure, outside the Legion that had defined them for so long. This was the reality, not glorious, not simple, just hard, endlessly, relentlessly hard. But it was also community. It was belonging. It was purpose. You were part of something larger than yourself, part of the contubernium, part of the century, part of the cohort, part of the Legion, part of Rome. You were never alone. Even in the darkest watch, even in the hardest march, you were surrounded by men who shared the burden, who understood, who endured alongside you. That mattered. Perhaps more than anything else, that mattered. The day you have just experienced, the day that has now ended in sleep and darkness and the sound of breathing, this day will repeat tomorrow, and you will endure it, because that is what legionaries do. You will wake before dawn. You will break camp, you will march, you will build, you will eat, you will stand watch, you will sleep, and the routine will carry you forward. through days and weeks and months and years, through landscapes and seasons and campaigns, through everything that Rome asks of you, because you are a legionary and this is your life, the wait, the march, the routine, the endless grinding discipline that built an empire. Rest now, the day is complete. Tomorrow, the march begins again. But tonight, there is only sleep. Thank you for walking this day with me, for carrying the weight, for enduring the routine, for understanding in some small way what it meant to be a Roman soldier. Sleep well.